For a trip this long, we decide to go business class, so we get to wait for our flight in the VIP lounge. Nathan is delighted with business class. Good food, all his favorite video games, comfortable seats, and special treatment by the flight attendants, who are so impressed by him that at the end of the flight they present him with a pin and a special handwritten card attesting to his good behavior. We spent our first night here. We'll spend the next 8 nights in tents.
And the ranger gets mad. Who's this? Who's banging horn? Who's banging horn? And they say, that's banging.
On the way to Lake Banyara, we stopped to see some interesting things. Godwin points out a plant that the local people use as an antiseptic. It's also supposed to promote healing. I decide to try it out on this little scrape. The medication feels cool and soothing, and since the scrape healed quickly, certainly didn't do any harm. Olive baboons are the most common East African primates. They live together in troops that can reach up to 150 individuals in size, but average about 35, with females outnumbering males by 3 to 1. They are omnivorous, consuming, among other things, fruit, leaves, grass, insects, lizards, even the occasional baby antelope. At night, they roost together in trees or on rock ledges to avoid predators like leopards. Our first view of Ngorongoro Crater We still have miles to go and won't reach our tent camp until well after dark. Lamala Camp is on the rim of the crater, and it takes us only about 15 minutes to get down to the floor. An extinct volcano that collapsed on itself 25 million years ago, Ngorongoro Crater is a 10-mile wide Super Bowl of wildlife. What we see today is just a small sample of the more than 40,000 animals that live here. Oxpeckers feed on ticks and other insects they find on large mammals like these hippos. This is the only time on the whole trip that we saw a wildebeest behaving this way. I guess it's the only way you can scratch an itch when your hoofs can't reach your nose. The floor of the crater is about 6,900 feet above sea level and can get quite chilly, especially on a cloudy day like this. This is our first picnic meal, and we're delighted at the quality and variety of the food Godwin has brought along for us. These are two female lions finishing a meal. Because our vehicle is not allowed to go off-road, this fuzzy image is the best we could get. That's a cattle egret hitching a ride on the hippo's back. They like to hang around the herds, picking off insects stirred up as the animals walk through the grass. Lamala is a tent camp, and last night was our first in the family-sized tent. It was cold out, but we were quite comfortable thanks to warm blankets, a hot water bottle in our beds, and 2 space heaters in the tent. The camp guardians are Maasai tribesmen who we learned to recognize by their red cloaks. The fire pit is where we gather at night to watch what our hosts call bush television. Accompanied by an armed guard as required by park regulations, Godwin leads us on a late afternoon nature walk near the camp. It took us over an hour to get down the mountain. The fog stayed with us all the way to the bottom. Many Maasai are happy to greet tourists, but a stop and greet like this required a small tip for the camel herders. The face paint on these boys indicates a recent circumcision ritual. These sisal plants, called oldipai in the local language, are abundant here, hence the name Oldipai Gorge. Hominid fossils found here show that human ancestors have been around for several million years and that Africa was probably the place where mankind first began. Mick and I were here in 1974, and we have pictures showing that this exhibit hasn't changed in 41 years. This is a cast of footprints made by hominids over 3.5 million years ago. This crescent-shaped dune is actually composed of volcanic dust, which has accumulated around a rock and is propelled forward by a wind which always blows in the same direction. The dust particles are strongly magnetized because of their high iron content, which helps the moving dune maintain its shape. These dunes travel more than 10 yards every year. We're still outside the national park, so the Maasai are allowed to tend their herds here. While Godwin is attending to the paperwork that will allow us to enter the park, we climb this rocky hill, or kopje. From the top, we have a splendid view across the part of the Serengeti Plain over which we've just traveled. Agama lizards are in the chameleon family and can change color to suit their environment. Around Tsavo, we've seen them with orange heads and green bodies. This baby leopard is probably waiting for his mama to bring him his dinner. The phone cameras are limited in how close they can zoom in, but clever Nathan has invented a way to get better close-ups by holding his camera lens against one of his binocular eyepieces. This guy is also probably waiting for his family to call him to dinner. The main reason for coming to the Serengeti at this time was the hope that we might be able to see and follow the wildebeest migration, one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. Last night, just before reaching our tent camp, we started seeing a few herds of animals in the distance, and this morning we awoke elated to find ourselves surrounded by huge numbers of restless, snorting wildebeest extending as far as we can see in any direction. It's an awesome sight. This must be what the bison herds of the American plains looked like in the early 1800s. As the herds move along, they must pass through the hunting territories of many predators. Losses are inevitable, but present no danger of seriously depleting these huge herds. I'll bet those guys have spotted the carcass we just left. Let's go back and see. To your left.
Got him. Yeah.
There's another one. When the cats and the hyenas and the jackals have eaten their fill, the vultures swoop in to finish the job. When they're done, there won't be anything left but bones and insect food. Oh, there's a marabou. The marabou stork is too smart to join the scrimmage. He'll hang around the edges and steal what he can. Waits patiently. I think the marabou's eating very well. The remains of a leopard kill. This is a common method leopards have of safely storing food for later consumption. All 3 of our tent accommodations look like this. 2 tents connected by a covered passageway. To take a talking shower, you shout up to the man on the roof, who then pours hot water into the outside bucket, which is connected by a hose to the shower head in the tent stall. The flow of water is controlled by pulling one of 2 chains for on and the other for off. It works okay if you're quick. This was the largest number of elephants that we saw as a group during the whole trip. The Great Migration has been going on since prehistoric times. In it, about 3 million animals, predominantly wildebeest, follow a circular path beginning and ending in Serengeti Plain and passing through the Masai Mara region of southern Kenya. Although their path through this 40,000 square kilometer ecosystem is predictable, their progress, their location at any given time, is not, depending as it does on the pattern of rainfall, which stimulates the regrowth of the grass on which they feed. When we booked this trip, we arranged to stay in 2 camps, this one in the central Serengeti and another in the north, hoping that if we missed the herds at one, we might find them at the other. Looks as though we're going to be with them in both places. What luck! It was a long day's drive to our next camp near Tanzania's northern border, but there were plenty of interesting things to see along the way. standing still and all looking the same way. They sense danger coming from that direction. When you're lucky enough to be present during the migration, one of the highlights, for tourists if not for the wildebeest, is to watch a herd cross the Mara River. Like the migration itself, river crossings are a certainty, but seeing one involves patience and luck. Each herd probably has a favorite crossing spot, which makes it easier to know where to look. Knowing when to look is the problem, because even if you track a herd to the water's edge, they may decide to stop there or turn around and resume grazing in the nearby fields. Although most crossings do take place in the early morning or late afternoon, each herd has its own unpredictable schedule. No crossing today, but still there's always something interesting to see. Reliable estimates put the number of migrating wildebeest at around 3 million. Some days it seemed as if we had seen every last one of them. This is a good example of following a herd for several hours right down to the water's edge, hoping to see a crossing that never happened. Lucky us. This is what we were hoping to see. We were patrolling along the river when we just happened upon this small herd crossing from north to south. Godwin tells us that it's not unusual for herds to cross more than once in both directions.
It's coming. It's going. Look at that. It's going. Have to kill him there. Oh, it's baby, 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 run. Run, baby, run. It's coming. You miss it.
I lost him again.
He's there.
Oh, he's right in the middle of them.
Yeah.
Oh, he missed.
They stumped it. They stumped it on him.
Got it.
Ah, baby.
Got it. Oh, he was so
missed.
close.
You missed.
Oh, yeah, the wildebeest just jumped on him. Maybe that's one for the wildebeest.
That's one over there. We got him.
Got him.
Buddy.
Oh,
That one.
That's one.
I missed it. No. Oh, yeah.
That's one.
Oh, he got it.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Got it. That's
big
one.
one, too. Oh, he's biting. Oh.
Wow. Wow, 2 crocodiles.
This youngster appears to be stranded alone in the middle of the river.
That one. Oh, come on.
I got it. Here it comes. Oh, got it. Oh.
You're letting it go.
I think we're going back to help. That's amazing.
It looks like the mother and maybe a couple of relatives are going to attempt a rescue. This must be the mother's, since it is well known that no mother will accept a strange calf.
See?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
It's not crocodiles. It's running.
Success! Godwin says that this is the first time he's ever seen this happen. This late afternoon crossing wasn't nearly as thrilling to watch, probably because no crocodiles were around to add that element of danger.